This is the Royal Enfield Himalayan, or Himalayan if you're from Delhi. Aside from motorcycles, Royal Enfield also made rifles for the British Army for almost a century, hence the slogan, "Made like a gun." So, is the Himalayan a capable, low-budget adventure bike, or is it a misfire? It's a beautiful day to be riding today. Temperatures in the mid 60s, wind chills probably high 50s, sun is out. Can't beat it for a good ride. I'm an experienced rider. I've been riding almost 50 years now. I've been an expert level motocross rider. I've been a B level enduro rider. I've been a expert level road racer. And so I've ridden a lot of different motorcycles in a lot of different situations. I don't like to nitpick motorcycles. There's good things and there's bad things about just about every motorcycle out there. And I could find some bad things about this bike. It could use more power. It could be a little lighter. So there's been no reliability issues for me, but there have been reliability issues for other people. There was the side stand issue. We were riding a dual sport ride, and we had to go through a section that was single track. On the single track there was a bit of a rise, and I had to go up the rise, and on the top of the rise there was I think a stump or a root. I'm not really sure what it was, but it was pretty solid. It caught the side stand in just the wrong spot and snapped the tab off for the spring. So the side stand was dangling and the spring was gone, because I didn't know that that had happened until we had gotten all the way through the single track, because you couldn't feel the center stand bouncing until you got back on the gravel or the dirt section of the road. Then you could hear it hitting the ground. But it was an easy fix. We had a bungee cord with us, so we just bungeed the side stand up, and I used the center stand for the rest of the trip. The side stand would still work. You just it wouldn't stay up. It would go down. You could lean the bike over on it. But if you had to put it up, you had to reach down and wrap the bungee around it, which was a pain, but it wasn't a big problem. When I got it, it only had 400 miles on it, so it was due for a valve check and an oil change, because you're supposed to have the valves checked. I think after the initial valve check is right around 300 miles, and I rode it probably another 300 or 400 miles before we actually got around to checking the valves. They were in spec. There was no issues, and the oil change went without a hitch. It's a fun motorcycle. It's a relaxing motorcycle. It's something that you're not going to buy to go out and blaze on back roads. You're not going to go out to do single track trail riding. It'll do some. It'll do both. It'll blaze. I don't say blaze. It won't burn either. It'll warm up a back road, and it will do single track to a degree if you're not trying to keep up with a KTM or maybe even a Honda CRF 250L. But it is compliant. The suspension is soft and compliant, kind of like that girl you met at spring break. And it's a lot of fun to ride. It's just, that's the breakdown. That's really the whole point behind this motorcycle. It is fun to ride. But will it cruise a bumpy back road? Yes. Yes, it will. Will it handle a fast fire road? Yes, it will. Will it let you pretend to be Marc Marquez on a twisty back road? No. No, it will not. The 21-inch front and 17-inch rear Pirellis work well off-road and are surprisingly sticky on tarmac. My model is pre-ABS, so I can't say how well that works, but I can say I haven't missed it so far. The riding position is comfortable enough for a good day's ride, and the non-adjustable suspension works well on the street and is adequate off-road as long as you don't have aspirations to ride like Cody Webb. See, this is the kind of road the Himalayan really shines on. It's narrow, the speed limit's not fast, the pavement is not good, and oh, now we got gravel. The Himalayan is not bad on gravel like this. If you just, you got to kind of ride it a little bit like a dirt bike. You can't really get back on the seat and let it float over the rocks like you can on a true dirt bike, but you can scoot back a little bit. Don't have the death grip on the handlebars. Just kind of let it ease around. It'll find its way. It'll hunt and peck just a little bit, but for the most part, it's stable. It doesn't do anything squirrely. It doesn't do anything surprising. It just kind of cruises right along. Now, granted, these tires are probably not the best kind of tires for this. The stock tires on this motorcycle probably more street oriented, although they do have an open tread block on them. But if they're just cruising on a back gravel road like this, they're more than adequate. Part of the Himalayan's charm is the simplicity of its design. The lock and screw valve setup requires adjustment every 3,000 miles. The good news is the job is smooth as a politician, and along with oil changes can be done in a few minutes by a semi-experienced mechanic. With the introduction of the BMW 310 GS, the 300 Kawasaki Versys, and an upgraded CRF 250L from Honda, the Himalayan has some big sandals to fill. Fortunately, it has several things going for it the competition doesn't. First is price. At less than $5,000, the Royal Enfield is by far the least expensive new dual sport you can buy that doesn't come from China. With a claimed draw weight just shy of Mama June and the fuel-injected 410cc long-stroke motor galloping just 24 horses, it's not going to be at the front of the Paris-Dakar. But for someone who wants an easy-to-use and repair motorcycle, the Himalayan fits the bill nicely. With a skid plate, a rear luggage rack, and a center stand stock, it's already prepped better than many bikes with a much higher price tag. The tank guards can double as a mount for accessory gas cans or saddlebags, and while I'm currently running soft bags in the back, hard cases are available in both black and bare aluminum. Parts are generally inexpensive and, for me at least, have been easy to obtain online since I don't have a Royal Enfield dealer within a 3-hour drive. With a seat height even Richard Hammond would love, at 31.5 inches, the Enfield fits most folks under 6'2". Vibration is almost non-existent thanks to a counterbalancer. The dashboard has a combination of digital and analog readouts including a gear indicator, gas gauge, clock, trip meter, and a compass. I've averaged well over 60 miles per gallon and have seen close to 70 on occasion. If I do have any nitpicks with the motorcycle, it's that the front and rear brake are more like suggestions, and the throttle's a lot like a fast food worker. It'll take your order, but don't be in any hurry for it to arrive. For just a general, all-around, good, do-everything motorcycle, for a beginner and somebody that's experienced that maybe wants a second, third, or even a fourth bike to go out and play around on, I don't think you could go wrong with spending the money for this motorcycle. I guess it boils down to this. The Himalayan is a wonderful motorcycle. Yes, the brakes are a little anemic. Yes, it could lose some weight. Yes, it could use some more horsepower. But it's a really fun, do-everything kind of motorcycle. You can commute, you can go cross-country, you can trail ride, parts are inexpensive, maintenance is easy. And at the price point the motorcycle comes in, I really don't think you could go wrong. So if that's the kind of bike you're looking for, then yes, I would recommend you look into the Himalayan.